How are you?
Great.
Good, there we go. I was waiting for the sound. You look amazing. I love your hair.
Thanks.
Looks gorgeous. So I have been super excited about us having this conversation. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Of course. So I know that we have chatted a little bit about the topic today, but to kind of set the stage, this all came up in our coaching team, coaching family. And you came to me and said, this idea of doing 1% better or 1% more has really resonated with you. And I figured, what better person than you to kind of bring this to more people, friends, family, community, YouTube, etc. So yeah, would just love to hear what immediately like, made it stand out to you.
Yeah, totally. I think this is an idea that I've had with me for a number of years now, starting with um, Mark Fisher Fitness, which is a really incredible gym in New York City that I miss dearly. Um, but one of their mantras is that they just say you only need to get 1% better and just focus on that 1% better every time. And that's how change happens. And to me, that was totally revolutionary, especially because I was doing this really intense exercise program and diet and mindset program with them. And that's something I had never done before. And I was really intimidated by it. So to keep hold of like, okay, just 1%, that's all I'm focusing on it just changed everything, changed the whole game, especially for a perfectionist like me, I think. Focusing on 1% better was like an antidote to me needing to like scale the whole mountain at the same time immediately.
Yeah.
So
that resonates in a huge way. I feel like for perfectionists, but even people just dealing with the world as it is today, pressures from COVID or impending elections, and the just natural stress that everyone is feeling being cooped up in their homes, etc. The idea that there are still things we can take on and do just a little bit more. Start writing that book, just 1%. Just get out, buy the notepad.
Yeah. Just open it.
Start the Google Doc, exactly. Makes it feel so much less intimidating.
Yeah, and I'll say it's been really kind of life-saving in when I'm in my own sort of struggle. And World Mental Health Day was a few days ago. I think as someone who struggles with anxiety and depression, just minimizing just taking those little steps really has made a huge difference, especially when it feels gargantuan to take a shower or to go outdoors or anything that on a normal day would be like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I was just
giving that permission.
Yes. Yeah. I was going to say, first of all, thank you for sharing that, because I know so many people deal with the same issues. And particularly in the world that we're in right now, it can feel even more isolating. And so I was just going to say, like, it can be that shower, it can be that little moment of just 1% more. That does not have to be writing a book, it does not have to be running a marathon. What were some of the things for you in those moments, if you don't mind sharing, where you're like, this is the 1% today, this is the little bit?
For me, those things they're usually just breaking down whatever task I know I have to get done into bite-sized pieces and saying, all right, I'm just going to do this one bite-sized piece and that's going to be enough. And if I can't do anything else after that, it's fine. That's moved me forward. That's just keeping the momentum going a little bit so that inertia doesn't creep in, as you so eloquently sort of put in your past interview here. So I'm trying to think of other examples. Making the bed is the biggest thing when I'm not feeling great.
Yeah.
That is that little thing that turns from like staying under the covers all day to like, okay, I'm going to try to be a little bit more human today.
Yeah.
Make the bed.
Yeah. I love that so much. I think you had also mentioned to me one of the times we spoke about this, something around the idea of like micro habits, that this is also
Yeah.
brought into your life in that way as well. And I just like the phrase micro habits. So can you fill us in on what
Yeah.
that's been for you?
So it's there are many books about creating habits,
Yeah.
but I have found for myself that when I go into a state of wanting change, I have like 10 things on a list that I want to change drastically all at once. And
Yeah.
I'll do them, I'll be super excited about it for about a week. And then it just won't, there will be no like momentum keeping it going. So
Yeah.
for me, micro habits is breaking down habits to the smallest step and adding them to something else you're already doing so that
That's
you
cool.
just are building upon whatever is working for you.
Yeah.
And it's things for me like when I have a client appointment for coaching, it's just adding in that like 5 minutes before to get my head on straight and the 20 minutes after that it takes to like write my notes and go over the call,
And build it.
and just making that a part of the process allows for things to run more smoothly and for me to be in a better mind state with it.
Yeah.
um, but the alternative could be like I do an hour of yoga before each of my appointments, or I do like 30 minutes meditation and I need to like set up all of these steps before
Yeah.
this so that I feel great. So
And find that time and
yeah.
build, and not just not find it, build it in. I think
Yeah.
I don't remember who was talking about this recently. It may have been somebody on our coaching team, but building into your calendar, and it's not revolutionary, actual time for wellness, for self care, where that time is untouchable. I know that for us in the coaching world, it's so easy to see, oh, that's the hour I blocked to read or step outside and get some fresh air. And a client says, hey, can you speak during that time? It is really hard, I'll say for myself, to not be like, well, that can go. I didn't need to go outside today. I didn't need to break for lunch. And if you build it into your calendar, there's something that you'd have to take away in
Yeah.
order to say yes to something else. And for me, that has been one of the more effective ways in finding the tool of saying no.
Gosh, that's amazing.
Like,
That changes everything. Yeah.
sorry, there's something scheduled at that time. How about X, Y, or Z? And retraining myself in the same way that clients and I have conversations about their well-being, their self-care. Coaches can often be the worst at taking that on our own. So I think your idea of micro habits, building it in, creating time for those things that we actually need.
And talk about a learning curve, right? So this 1% more idea is also just a huge reminder to me that like we're always growing and we're always trying new things. And so it's
Yes.
always a constant process. But you don't need to like eat, like there's a phrase from another book that's eat the frog, right? Do that thing that you don't want to do.
You don't have to eat
You don't need to do it all at once. You could just like
a little bit here and there. Yeah, I love that so much. Thank you for making this a little bite-sized piece of such a cool topic. I think for me, I'm going to declare that my 1% more is going to be reminding myself every day to take that moment to do something that's just joyful. And I already did it today, inspired by you, made a batch of macaroons, French macaroons, because it's a rainy day and feels like Paris. I'm taking that little time for myself.
That sounds incredible. I'll be right over.
Thank you so much for this, Sarah. I so appreciate you taking the time and sharing this with everyone. I think it's such a wonderful concept.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yay!
This was great.